Today I'm gonna give my presentation on domain name system called as DNS. Introduction. Domain name system enables you to use hierarchical friendly names to easily locate computers and other resources on an IP network. DNS is a distributed database that contains mapping of DNS domain name to data. Both host files and DNS uses a namespace. DNS replaces the host file with a distributed database that implements a hierarchical naming system. There are three main components of DNS: domain name server, domain name resolvers, and domain name space. Here's domain name server. A domain name server is a computer that runs a DNS server application. That server can store zone file information locally or in memory. A DNS server responds to client requests for name resolution by trying to find those names in namespace. A name server also performs database management tasks or on the zone files, such as resources, records, updates, and zone transfers. Here's a tree diagram. There's a root under the root. There's first layer zone, in which it comes .com, .net, and go on, and furthermore. And after first level zone, there's a second level zone in all of these, in which it comes like Facebook, Google, and everything and everything else. And after second level domain, there is the sublayer domain, in which it's www, name servers, and mails and everything. After this, there's domain name resolver. A domain name resolver is a client. Resolvers can be TCP/IP, workstation, or servers, but must be configured to send name resolution request to the IP addresses of at least one DNS server. Most desktop computers in a DNS environment are resolvers. Here is domain namespace. A domain namespace is one of the most important part of any name server. Domain namespace works much like a group of separately managed database housed on different systems, all of which are able to find and use one another's entries. Domain namespace consists of a large number of name servers called systems. They are logically connected in parent-child fashion, while each system may only be responsible for a small area of namespace. Host names from other systems can be referred in response to client requests. Here we go for legislation. The operating of the domain name system is not affected by any legislation in the UK. It is an international group of companies that are responsible for running the domain name system server that acts on domain name system issues. They can be influenced by British law, but it plays only a small role. And here we go for limitation. There are almost unlimited numbers of IP addresses. Certainly there are some limits in IP version 4, about 4 billion IP unique addresses, because it uses 32-bit in every address. But IP address version 4, we have resources which enable to give every individual on the planet, nearly you can say 10 billion IP addresses, as it is 128 bytes for every address. Mathematically, this is a limited resource, but practically it's an unlimited resource. IP addresses is allocated at the moment on the basis of demonstrated immediately demand. And here we go for my conclusion. Domain name system is an important invention for people because everyone cannot remember the IP addresses for every web pages, and the population is increasing, business are increasing, so there are websites are increasing, so thereby it's very difficult to remember the IP addresses. DNS make life easier, and it is faster, more reliable and safer. Here are my references from which I took all the information. Thank you for listening to me.